Hello, this is the Cobra BV26C, which is a petrol blower vacuum, ideal for tidying around the garden. So I'm going to show you how to put it together. Very simple, so we'll just take everything out of the box and just show you how quick and easy it is to assemble. The blower vacuum has two functions, which is in the name. You can use it as a blower to blow grass cuttings and leaves around into heaps ready for clearing them, or you can use it as a vacuum to suck up leaves and other plant debris in the garden. So we'll look at the blower first, and it's easy to recognise the blower parts because they're the thinner of the pipes that you get. The thicker ones are part of the vacuum, and the one that's got Cobra on it is the piece that goes directly into the engine unit. So what I've done is I've slackened off the screw there and the Allen key on this spout, and then we just need to line up this little plastic tab here with the groove. So I'm going to actually just put it on its back and we can see it quite clearly there. So I'm just going to put it in and just wiggle it a little bit, line it in, and then push it until it's firmly in place. And then with the Allen key that's provided, it's just simply a case of just tightening that back up again to hold it firmly in position. So we can just tighten that up to hold it into position. And then likewise, if you've slackened off the screw, just put a little twist on that just to hold that firmly in place. Okay, and the screwdriver is provided, that's on the back of the spark plug socket. So that's that piece firmly in place, and then it's just a case of choosing which one you want. This one is for general tidying around, this one is great for leaves, it gets under them and blows them around. So whichever one you want, and it's very simple to fit. We can see there is a groove on the inside of the plastic, so I've got to line that up with this little noggin of plastic there. Just push that in, and then it will simply twist round so the plastic is still in there, and it's going to lock now into place. And when it's in position, it will line up these two arrows like that. So that will stay there now. It's really firmly in place. The only way we get it off is then by twisting it anti-clockwise to get it off. So essentially that's ready now to blow leaves around the garden. The engine is a 26cc two-stroke engine, so that means it's unleaded petrol and two-stroke oil, and the correct ratio will be in the guidebook there, so make sure that you read that and get everything you need. And the two-stroke engines come with a little mixer tank as well, so depending on which mix it is, it tells you how much oil to put in to the petrol. Give it a good shake and away you go. I've already mixed some up here, so this is our petrol oil mix, two-stroke mix, and this is the petrol tank here. So I'm going to take the lid off there, and then I'm just going to tilt it back so you can see, and just pour some of this ready mixed petrol into it, and then just put the lid back on. Don't over tighten it, just finger tight, that's all we need, just until it's like that. Now we're fueled up, I'll just run through the controls and then we can start it up. So first thing you need to remember is this has got an on-off switch on the top there, little red button that we can move backwards and forwards, so we need that to be on, otherwise it will never start. The trigger is there, that operates the revs on it. If you're using this a lot, to save having to hold it in, on this side there is a lever, and if I pull the lever back, you can see what it does is pull the trigger in, so you can use that without having to hold that trigger in, which is a really useful thing. So we can take that off to start with. And then here we've got a choke. We'd need that when the engine's cold, so we put it down, and then obviously when we start it up we release it, and underneath there is a little primer, a little bubble there. You just push that 2 or 3 times and that just puts some fuel through into the carburettor, and basically that is all you've got to do. It's then simply a case of just pulling the recoil and it will start, and when it does start running we can then gradually take off the choke until the engine's ticking over and we can start using it. This is in the blow, so 2 leaves there just to show you the power. So what I'll do now, switch it off, which is the on-off switch, and we'll take the blower off and I'll show you how to fit the vacuum. So the blowpipe is taken out, and then we can convert it into the vacuum. So just put that there, because what we're going to do is to create the bag, and you'll see there is this shaped piece of pipe here, and it also comes with quite a large canvas bag like this. So if you go into the bag, it's got a zip on the back there for emptying it. Feed this inside the bag, and you'll notice at this end there is an opening. So I'm going to feed it through, pull it like that, pull that out. It can't come all the way because it's got this wide end on it, and then what we do, just to tighten it up, we can just put this Velcro strap around it there, so that holds that firmly in place within the collection bag. And then what we do with this can now be fitted onto the unit itself, and here we've got again the groove, and what I'm going to do is line up the groove and the little plastic tab, just put that into there, push it into place, and then I can tighten up the Allen key and the screw again, just to make sure that it's nice and tight there. So just tighten that into place. Okay, now what we can do next is, I've taken it out already, but if I just turn this onto its side, so we've got the plastic cover here. I've already loosened it. It is loosened with this little screwing part there. There is a spare one of those with everything else, so obviously try not to lose it, but should you lose it, there is a spare. And then I can lift this, because what I'm going to do is then fit the main pipes that go in there, and it's probably easier to fit them together first. So we've got the two pipes, the wider pipes. This end here is the piece that's going to fix onto there, and then the piece with the slanted top is the end. And what I'm going to do, we just line them up there, so we've got this little ridge of plastic and a groove there. It just takes a little bit of fiddling around just to make sure we get it inside like that, and then it's a case of pushing it down all the way to this point. So it's just pushed down like that, so that's nice and firmly in place, and you don't have to take that apart, of course. You can just take that off and store it in your garage when you're not using it as a vacuum. Lift up the plastic flap here, and then I'm going to just position this so that the little plastic red lugs here line up with these grooves around. So there are 4 of them, so again it's just a case of gently lining that up, getting them into position, and once they've dropped into position, just give it a twist anti-clockwise and they will click into place. So that is it, they're firmly into position. So we've now got our bag here, and we've got the blower there, and it's got a handy strap that will then fit over your shoulder like that. So we can now start to use that to hoover up leaves. Before you use it as a vacuum, make sure that you've adjusted the strap so it's comfortable when you wear it. And remember, we open the zip to put this pipe in, so obviously you need to make sure that that is closed, otherwise everything's going to come straight out the back. So if it is cold, it will need the choke on it, otherwise it will just start. So we've got to remember to turn it on, and then away we go. And then I'm just going to put this over my shoulder. Great for sucking up dry grass cuttings or leaves in the autumn, or from out the bottom of the borders. And the great thing is with this, as they're sucked up, they are mulched. Inside there are some small blades, so they're sucked up the tube, it chops them into small fine pieces. So what were big leaves, by the time they've gone into here, have been chopped up into much smaller leaves, ideal for adding to the compost heap. And remember, everything you need to know about this is in the manual, so please read it and keep it safe, and happy gardening with your Cobra blower and vacuum.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk, and always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.